British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and these are your news updates for 1 o'clock. Today is National Honor LGBTQ Elders Day. Reporter Tammy Mack gives us the significance of this day.
May 16 is National Honor Our LGBT Elders Day. Right ahead of Pride Month, this is a day to honor older queer folks for the work they've done for the community, paving the way with their courage for younger generations. Younger members of the community today face less social stigma, isolation, and discrimination due to the contributions of older members, allowing them to live their day-to-day authentically. This day was founded in 2015 to recognize the experience and struggles of a demographic that is often overlooked. Tammy Mack for BCIT's The Crow.
The University of Victoria's pro-Palestinian encampment has drawn an increasing number of complaints of harassment and intimidation, according to the university's president. The university released a statement on Wednesday citing concerns about rising acts of vandalism, misinformation, and unauthorized use of buildings after hours. President of the university, Kevin Hall, says he understands the encampment includes students and staff from the university, but that it is irresponsible for the owners to encourage people who are not affiliated with the school to occupy the campus. Fire season in British Columbia is already on the way, with evacuation orders being implemented for various regions across the province. Our reporter Sia Forio discusses how community residents and visitors can prevent urban fires.
With ground fires burning throughout the year, coupled with drought from this past winter, British Columbians are bracing for a potential wild fire season. The government is providing as many resources as possible to residents and visitors alike to educate themselves on the dangers of urban fires, from clearing dry leaves and debris from your property to being extra cautious when camping. Fire prevention is everyone's responsibility, according to Paul Rushton of the Burnaby Fire Department. The Ministry of Forests for BC is letting people know that most fires are preventable. Caution should be taken when traveling and encourage people to know the policy of know before they go. Sia Forio, BCIT's The Crow.
The Vancouver Park Board is working to keep residents hydrated as summer months approach. Reporter Lorna Chili talks about how the city is making drinking water more accessible.
Thirsty? Well, not to worry. Vancouver's Park Board is preparing the city for summer weather with temporary water fountains, hand washing, and bottle filling stations. There are currently 200 permanent drinking water fountains available throughout the city, but more are being added. They'll be specifically located to benefit the elderly, youth, and people experiencing homelessness. It also encourages people not to buy plastic, single-use water bottles. The temporary fountains and stations will be placed in 16 additional locations. Lorna Chili, BCIT's The Crow.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has called out the New Brunswick Conservatives. The Prime Minister spoke out against Premier Blaine Higgs and other Conservatives during a news conference in the province. Trudeau criticized calls from Higgs to remove the government's price on carbon, as well as changes the province has made to their policy on gender identity in schools. Trudeau accuses Higgs and other Conservatives of using transgender and non-binary children to score political points. The government of Manitoba, along with the federal government, have signed a deal to spend a total of $38.4 million over 4 years in order to boost firefighting and prevention efforts. The money will go towards a number of different initiatives, according to Emergency Preparedness Minister Harjit Sajjan.
We commit to providing assistance to the province and territories that require the near support, and into the long term, we are making investments to build on the capabilities that Canadians will need moving forward by training more firefighters and working with Indigenous communities, provinces and territories, and local communities to provide the equipment and support that they need.
Director Guillermo del Toro is set to join the Canadian Film Centre Board. The three-time Oscar winner will be appointed to the board of directors at the next annual general meeting, which will take place in October. Del Toro was born in Mexico but shoots many of his projects in Canada. He says he is happy to support the next generation of storytellers through his work with the organization. Now on to weather. It is currently 17 degrees and cloudy, with a chance of showers throughout the day. As we move into the night, the temperature is expected to drop to 10 degrees. It is expected to be mostly sunny tomorrow as we start off the weekend. with a high of 17 degrees. I'm Ethan Mandop, and that was your news update for 1 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. I'm Nicholas Hauke with your sports update to 110. Starting with hockey, the Vancouver Canucks will take the ice tonight for Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Edmonton Oilers. After a gut-wrenching 3-2 loss on the road, the Canucks will look to respond on home ice. Canucks coach Rick Tocchet has stated he won't be making any big lineup changes. Arthur Silovs is expected to start net for Vancouver, while Calvin Pickard is in the cage for Edmonton. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, the puck drops to 7 tonight for this pivotal matchup. Fans that are looking to purchase a Canucks jersey to wear tonight may be surprised to find jerseys are almost as expensive as getting a ticket to the game itself. Reporter Ryan Sheridan says be careful about buying a jersey under $200. The deal may be too good to be true.
As the Canucks continue to advance, jerseys have become expensive and hard to come by. Vintage Finds Van City store owner Josh Stevens specializes in Canucks gear and explains what to look out for.
If you look at the stitching on jerseys, you can kind of tell if it's all over the place, and the lettering sometimes looks off. But there is a ton of fake jerseys coming from overseas, 100%. So if you see a jersey ever in a thrift store and you think you won, make sure you take a look a little bit better.
Official jerseys range from $195 to $350, and the price is a good indicator to check authenticity. Ryan Sheridan, BCIT's The Crow.
On to international hockey. Team Canada is currently taking on Norway in the IHF World Hockey Championship. Canada leads 2-0 at the start of the third period with goals from forwards Brandon Tanev and Andrew Mangiapane. The game is a must-win for Canada, as a loss would put them in danger of not making the medal round. Heading to the Gridiron, BC Lions training camp is underway in Kamloops. With the Grey Cup being held in BC this season, there's hope from the fan base that the Lions can win a championship on home soil. Co-general manager Neil McAvoy says the Lions aren't getting ahead of themselves, though.
Adds more pressure, but in the reality, professional football is always about pressure. You're always being pressured to win now. It just turns out the Grey Cup being in Vancouver, that doesn't put any more pressure on us this year than it will next year or that it did last year. At the end of the day, you do have to put a good football team on the field. You have to put a good product on the field so people want to come and watch it.
The Lions' first preseason game will take place May 25th against the Calgary Stampeders. In local basketball news, the Vancouver Bandits have started their training camp as well. Head coach Kyle Julius says there's more than just the X's and O's that goes into preparing the team for their 2024 campaign.
We want to do in the summertime. How hard can we push them? What's the best way to build a relationship in this short period of time? How can we, put them in situations to be successful? I think it's a little bit of everything. My experience as a coach, my experience as a player, and then at the same time, just really building relationships with them and finding out what's important to them.
In gymnastics news, star Simone Biles says she is better equipped to handle the challenges that await as she prepares for a third Olympics. The 27-year-old became a spokesperson for athletics and mental health at the Tokyo Games in 2021 when she pulled herself out of several competitions because of the trauma that made it difficult for her to compete. Biles says that she now works with a therapist regularly, even during meets, to help her deal with whatever may come. The seven-time Olympic medalist begins preparation for Paris at the U.S. Classic in Hartford, Connecticut. Heading to the golf course, Xander Schauffele has set the PGA Championship record shooting a 62. Schauffele took advantage of rain-softened conditions at Valhalla. He rang off three birdies in a 4-hole stretch on the front 9 to get in range of the record. The previous mark at the PGA was 63. Darren Detition has passed away after a long battle with prostate cancer. Detition started his tenured career at TSN in 1995 and would stay with the network for the entirety of his career. The Saskatchewan native was 57 at the time of his passing. That was your sports update to 110. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Nicholas Hauke, BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow. This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Over at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, there's a group of researchers paving the way for wheelchair accessibility. BCIT reporter Emily Deneen explores the new technology.
My name is Garrett Kreitz, and I am a research associate here at BCIT Applied Research. I'm also the program head for Make Plus.
Hi, I'm Jamie Borisoff. I'm the director of Make Plus, and we have received funding recently from the Canada Foundation for Innovation and British Columbia Knowledge Development Fund to build advanced wheelchairs.
Rory Dougal. I am the mechanical designer, I guess, for the subathlon team from Make Plus and Applied Research.
The Make Plus team is heading to Zurich, Switzerland in October to compete in the 2024 Cybathlon. In the Cybathlon, they will put their wheelchair to the test by competing in 10 obstacles in 8 minutes. Some of these obstacles include a staircase, a curved staircase, and a ramp.
Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is I am testing and programming the steering motor for the project. So we need a motor to turn the front wheel based on the input from the driver. So rather than focusing so much time and resources on a brand new technology like exoskeletons, how can we improve upon something like the wheelchair that is iterated over 100, 200 years and really optimize that product?
The other teams competing from around the world have had 4 years to perfect their projects, but the Make Plus team has only been working for 3 months and will compete in 5.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a good energy. It has added a good energy to the whole team and kind of some excitement, I think.
From my perspective, as project lead, I'd say we are continually challenged by the electrical complexity of the project. That's on a pure technical perspective. Additionally, I think it's just harnessing everybody's talents and expertise to try and make the project move in the best direction. So on a personal level, I've always been challenged with focusing too much on details. Some of what I talked about the problem solving and really just trying to impart into my own work, where it's saying if I'm stuck, right away asking people for help, going to internet forums or to the sales representatives or the applications engineer for the technology we're working with, just asking as many questions as I can.
I think this one kind of pushes a lot of the work we've been doing, or that I've been doing over the last 7 years, and then Jamie for 20 plus years kind of thing. I think this project in particular moves all of that kind of knowledge and those designs that we've developed. It accelerates that development curve, and it also allows us to learn a bunch in the meantime, and then potentially whether this does exact device, or it will never kind of go out into the public, but there'll be spin-offs, and I think that'll be really cool to see kind of what chunks of it then get used in the real world.
Even though these machines won't be mass produced, the technology behind them will help with the advancement of wheelchairs in the future.
All right, so this is our prototype wheelchair for the Power Wheels project. It adapts a elevation wheelchair, which is part of the wheelchair that we do a lot of research around in the lab. And we've put a front end on it that's powered. And then we've also put these rear wheels on the back, which are fat bike wheels that also have these really high torque motors that are inside.
As of right now, the wheelchair is looking more like a tricycle. It has a yellow milk carton strapped to the front with about 20 batteries in it. There's also a hockey puck attached to the front corner, which is so that it doesn't flip over when completing the ramp obstacle. Garrett capped the speed of the wheelchair at 8 miles per hour, but if he didn't, it could go up to 30.
It's a daunting task depending on the type of grant and how large it is, and this one was a particularly large one. Certainly had a lot of people helping as well to get the paperwork done in time.
Jamie Borisoff personally received over $1 million for this project. The funding will help ensure the reliability, safety, and effectiveness of the machine. Jamie will be the pilot of the final project, and as a wheelchair user himself, he has an important perspective. The team will go again in 2028 and will use this year as a learning experience to see what they're capable of.
If we can do a bunch of the tasks, awesome. There'll be some that we probably can't get to or maybe are a bit tougher. And then the 4 years from now, we'll hopefully be have much more time to do kind of learn a bunch this year and then apply all those learnings to 4 years from now and hopefully have a much more refined device.
It'll be our first time. We have some goals, but really we're also thinking about 2028 already in terms of learning something in 2024 and then iterating, redeveloping it, learning from our mistakes and things we didn't do as well and doing it even better in 4 years later.
I really try to make sure the team is asking, what are we trying to test? Why are we trying to test it? And then making sure to carve off chunks of that testing that are small enough to achieve in 1-2 days or a week at most. That way you're just keeping the ball rolling. I'm really trying to stay away from, going to our computers for a month and designing something unless we know that this idea is going to work and we're continuing to move forward.
The team is excited to go to Zurich in October. From now until then, they will be working their hardest to put the best machine forward. Special thanks to our producers Josh Hudon and Sophie Hansen. I'm Emily Deneen for BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.